here we go again. Gonna jump back into the subject. This video is probably not gonna be the most engaging video. It's not gonna be about anime or something fun. I guess it does technically have something to do with anime, but just wanna get a pre-warning out here. This is really just me covering my thoughts on a couple things that are happening right now. Now, this is a topic that I don't really like. I hate the fact that I have to talk about the subject, but technically there's a lot of people that support this channel and what we do here, and I think those people would probably want my thoughts on what's currently happening surrounding anime, essentially YouTubers, people that cover anime on YouTube, and the things we have to go through and what things could change. I'm not really hopeful, but to start things off, I do want to cover some backstory stuff. So if you're kind of in tune with what's happening right now with Toei, TotallyNotMark, and this channel, you can skip forward. I'll hopefully have some timestamps down here that you can jump forward on. But to get people caught up on what's currently happening, essentially for about a year now, I have been covering anime full time. I've been pretty much trying to launch this YouTube channel, getting things moving on this YouTube channel. And one of the things that obviously I run into is dealing with copyright, fair use, and all the stuff that comes with that. And for those that don't know, essentially fair use is where somebody, is transformative to a content and puts it into a video or some sort of property or some sort of content and gives it to other people. And fair use itself protects the creator themselves. The unfortunate thing with this particular situation is that Japan does not really have what we deem as fair use. Their fair use policies are pretty much non-existent. So anything that we can create in other regions aren't necessarily recognized by Japan. And so there's an issue there. And this is something that I brought up in my last video, and certain people didn't really seem to understand. This idea that when you create something, say, in America, and it follows fair use policies there and copyrights there, that doesn't necessarily fit with Japan. And the problem that we've always run into as YouTube content creators is that conflict. When you create something, you're transformative of it, and then when it, for some reason, YouTube does not give you the tools to prevent it from going to Japan. When it goes to Japan, they're able to strike it and attack it. And that's where we fall into this really big issue. Knowing that, most of my content that I've created over the last year has no footage whatsoever. I didn't even want to deal with trying to dance around that and hope they don't see it. Even to the point where all I was doing is showing screenshots. And unfortunately, that wasn't enough. Even having screenshots in my videos was getting me copyright claims. I tried to dispute those copyright claims. That led to strikes. That led me to decide that I wasn't going to dispute anything. I would just take down the videos. And what happened is with screenshots, I was getting immediate strikes even still. And that led me to pretty much most of my content not have any content whatsoever that wasn't mine. Just strictly me in front of a camera. And I even still then had a fear of, someone might claim one of these posters in my background. That's how much fear that instills. That inability to really fight back. And YouTube has never given the tools to either fight back or completely avoid it altogether with region locking. And that was going well, all the way until December when a certain event happened with a guy named TotallyNotMark, or a channel called TotallyNotMark, where this guy was creating a lot of content. He used footage. I don't know the extent of what he was doing. I don't know if it was under fair use or not. I just know that this person essentially created a whole bunch of videos, and at some point Toei claimed and struck down 150 plus videos. Now it was scary, because from his perspective, he had some videos where there was no content in it whatsoever that was Toei's property. And that is a fear for any content creator, and the idea that, these copyright holders have so much power, they can destroy you without you even having their content in their videos. And there seemed to be a fight back that was happening. A lot of people were getting involved, and there was a fight back happening, but unfortunately at some point, and I'm not negative against TotallyNotMark. At some point, he pulled himself out of the fight. He said, you know what? I can't deal with this. This is too much for me. And I totally understand him. So nothing happened. It went quiet. And that leads us to essentially today, or technically yesterday, TotallyNotMark coming back and saying, hey, here's an update. And that update was very interesting. This is a video that he created that essentially explains his whole situation that has happened since that point, that he pulled himself out of the whole situation. And the interesting thing that came of it was a fight that was happening in the background. That apparently, according to him, and according to the person that he doesn't name, which I understand him not naming, a YouTube representative that was talking about there was a fight that was happening between YouTube and Toei specifically. And why I think this is important is because this is where we possibly could get change from. I don't think it's immediate change. Obviously, it's seen change to TotallyNotMark because now it seems like he has the tools that we all kind of want to allow him to select regions. Again, I don't know if that's for sure, but it sounds like based on how he said it, there's possibility that he himself has the tools to region lock his stuff. But there's a hope that based on what he's saying, this possible conflict that was happening between YouTube and Toei, that we could see in the larger mass of people the tools we need to prevent this from happening again. And that's where I'm a little excited. Now, I don't see it yet, and I don't know that it's something that will roll out if it does happen. But this conflict was essentially that Toei used this system that YouTube provided them. YouTube seen the massive amount that they were wanting to claim, and YouTube, thankfully, said, ooh, that's a lot. Are you sure you're following guidelines of copyright? Because this is a big deal. Technically, there's no international laws of copyright. And so each individual area has to recognize its own powers. And Japan, with Toei, was saying, yeah, everywhere. Everywhere it's against copyright. And that's a dangerous thing for them to do. That's essentially against what YouTube themselves enforce upon the copyright holders. And after basically telling, hey, Toei, do you really want to do this? Toei goes behind them and essentially strikes down all these videos manually, even videos that, again, did not have copyright stuff in it. Again, according to TotallyNotMark. Now, this is, again, the interesting thing that comes of this is that after this all happened, again, there was a conversation back and forth between YouTube and Toei. And I think that's a good discussion that will end up, hopefully, bringing change in the future. For TotallyNotMark, the great thing that happens is that in the end, YouTube goes, okay, we're going to just mark all these not allowed to view in Japan, which again, exactly what I hope I can eventually have the ability to do. Again, this is a tool that is only available to partners of YouTube and certain managers that you can employ. The typical content creator themselves don't have these tools. I don't have these tools. If I make a video, it just goes up everywhere, which is terrible. It's a terrible system because, again, what I would deem allowed here isn't necessarily what would be allowed in certain regions. And with YouTube not allowing the content creator themselves to have these tools, we're not able to really protect ourselves and our YouTube channels from issues that may affect us in different areas with different laws. So unfortunately, in the end, when TotallyNotMark makes this video, I'm happy for him. He's got his videos back. It seems again like he has the tools he needs to region lock his stuff. I don't know if it's true or not. I'm just assuming based on how he says it. And again, there was a conflict that happened. YouTube acknowledged an issue because they had a fight with Toei about this. Again, presumably if what TotallyNotMark is saying is true. But unfortunately, again, as I see, nothing's changed. Nothing in the end has changed. And this was something that got me a lot of heat in my last video I made on this whole topic. Because in my last video, I kind of phrased the whole situation with TotallyNotMark in December as this isn't about Toei. It's never been about Toei. It's about YouTube and how they handle fair use, copyright claims, and the system as a whole. And I wanted them to recognize, I wanted everybody that was talking about the subject to recognize, again, that it's not just Toei. And what Toei did was terrible. Don't get me wrong. What they did was inexcusable and, again, technically against the law. Because, again, what they were claiming was that TotallyNotMark's content everywhere worldwide was against copyright. And that was technically not true because there's no international laws on copyright. It's per region. And what they were claiming and striking down was worldwide. So again, I'm not giving Toei a pass. I'm just saying Toei's using the tools that YouTube provides them and that all of these companies have access to. And again, was the reason why I got my copyright claimed into a strike and the reason why I got an immediate strike from the company that owns Sunny Boy. All these companies in Japan don't recognize fair use because Japan does not recognize fair use like we do. And they all have these tools and they all use it. And so my whole point was, let's not correct this by making Toei stop. Let's correct this by changing the tools itself and giving the content creators what they need, the tools they need to protect themselves. Because again, a lot of people that are content creators on YouTube are trying to make this a full-time thing. This is a passion. This is something that we enjoy doing. And this is something that we give to other people that they enjoy in return. So this is my call out to the situation. This is my call out to YouTube and people in general. While again, I'm happy that TotallyNotMark has gotten his stuff back. And again, I hope that he got the region locking tools that he needs because nothing's going to change in the future until we get the tools that we need to protect ourselves. And again, My whole thing on this whole thing has been, if I cannot control where my videos go, how can I control what laws I break and don't break? YouTube needs to give content creators of any size. I'm tired of this thought process of, well, if you reach 100,000 subs, you can get these tools. No, every content creator should have the tools that they need to prevent themselves from breaking laws. It's just common sense. This should not be a difficult topic here. Every content creator. And I think the cool thing would come from that is having this list of people that would know if you want to protect yourself, if you're doing anime, say, and you're following most fair use policies, that you can select where you go. I should be able to go, okay, what is the US laws on fair use and copyright? Okay, I will follow it to a T, and I will only post my videos there. That should be a thing, but it's not right now. What is right now is that I post a video and it just gets thrown out there and anybody can claim it. There was a particular content creator, which I'll put a link in my description, a law perspective video that was made on this whole topic that talked about this. That there could essentially be a nation that just sprouts out of nowhere and claims that anything that is video format is against copyright, and they can shut down the entire YouTube services as a whole. That's how dumb this is. This is how broken the system is. That it's a joke technically, but yeah, you can technically claim that somebody in some random region can say that there's a fair use or copyright law that says that anything that is video format that's ever posted in their region is against the laws of videography or something, and they can shut down all of YouTube. Because again, every video you make is sprouted everywhere. And until YouTube realizes that if they're going to take our stuff, the stuff that we create, and throw it to everywhere, that we should have at least some sort of control, some sort of defense for ourselves, and not just taking the perspective of the copyright holders as a whole and as gold. And that's not even getting into the other issue that comes with all this stuff, is the aspect of some content creators getting away with it and others not. The idea that, based on your actual viewership and the size of your audience, you're able to get away with things that others can't. I mean, we had here recently, not to name names, I don't have any problem with them particularly. I have a problem with the system. Certain content creators right now doing their top 10 lists of 2021, and it's just a video full of clips of shows that, like Sunny Boy, which they don't get in trouble for. It doesn't make any sense. None of it has ever made any sense. So that's where I'm sitting with this. I hope you guys enjoy this video. Hopefully this will get people, again, that are supporting our channel informed on, again, my perspective on the situation, what I think, what's going on. But hopefully, again, some change comes. Again, all the respects, Totally Not Mark. I'm glad everything got resolved for him. He was able to get to the situation and it didn't affect him too much, and he's able to get things rolling again. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoy this video. As always, if you want to support us, we have a Patreon and tips link in the description below. We definitely appreciate everybody that does, and y'all take care.